Hi, everyone. It's alive. I hope everything's good and you can see me and hear me. Here I am in Italy. It's Sunday night, as usual, 9 o'clock. And so we're going to have our podcast on Italy. We're going to have our discussion about Italy. I need to start off with a little bit of water because I've been running around. So welcome. If you're new here, my name's Amanda. We have a live podcast from Italy every Sunday night at 9 o'clock. You're welcome. If you're a regular and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe or go up and like the like button. The like button helps YouTube to push out my stuff to people who may want to watch it. I'm just going to indicate on Instagram that we're live, so those that are waiting to join us can join us. And welcome everybody. We usually have people from all over the world. So I hope you're going to join us tonight. And if you won't mind, if you can go down to the chat box over there, it's right there, and just put your name in and where you're joining us from, and then I can welcome you. And I like to see who's joining us, and it's great to see where you're from. So good. I've been chatting to various people today from all over the world, to be honest, and this is going to be the post-election edition, because I've had calls from quite a few Americans in a panic because they don't know what they should do. Should they move to Europe? They were considering moving to Europe and they're not sure. This silk top is quite strange. I don't know what it's doing. There. It seems to be inclining to the left. So that's there, that's here. Okay. It's rather hot under these lights, and so normally I would be in a sweater if I'm running around in late autumn, winter, but because I'm under the lights, it's rather warm, so I can wear silk. Isn't that great? Yeah. So welcome everybody. As you come in, just hit the like button, and if you watch back later, won't you just leave me a comment? Let me know what you think. We're going to have a lively discussion tonight about living in Europe, relocating. Last week's edition, which I'll hook up there, I spoke about how it is having culture shock, living in a country that's not your own. I spoke about me living in Italy and the experiences that I quite often have. So you can let me know whether you have had similar experiences, and I will put that up there, and I will also link it in the description box. In the description box will be all my other links, my Instagram for some other photos, because this is a live, I can't put up photos, and also links to my website if you want to ask questions or you want to send me an email for more information, if I can help you in some way to relocate to Europe. And yeah. And there's a whole playlist, which I'll also hook up there and in the description box, of moving to France, Portugal, Italy, wherever you like in Europe. And in fact, today I discussed with someone who wants to move to the Czech Republic, to Prague from America. So there we are. Okay. What are we going to talk about tonight? So we're going to start off with the panic, the sheer panic that people go through. I don't know. Look, I have been living in Italy, as I've probably mentioned before, for 22 years. I haven't always liked whoever was president of this country when I was living here. A couple of years ago, I became an Italian citizen and was eligible to vote. Before that, I wasn't eligible to vote, but I didn't particularly like many of the presidents I had to live under, and their tax policies and their international policies and their immigration policies. Didn't like much of it. But, I chose to come and live here. Nobody begged me to live here. So let's talk about these Americans who the ones that were crying on TV, we all saw those. But people who were completely undone by the fact that Trump has won the election. Now, I must just say this is not a political discussion. We don't discuss politics on this. This is going to be a social discussion. I'm not American, therefore, I don't comment on American politics. I'm not going to have a discussion on politics. This is just going to be a fun discussion about people who want to move to Europe. So I can't vote. I'm not American, and it's not my problem. And I don't favor either way. And as I said, this is not a political discussion, but I am intrigued by people whose entire lives are going to be uprooted, apparently, by the fact that America voted to have Trump as their president again for the second time. So here we are. So I'm going to read you. I was reading today and I found it quite amusing. A number of celebrities. Do you know how many celebrities have actually vowed, not just threatened, but vowed to leave the United States? So this is Newsweek. I'm reading bits of Newsweek. Please don't come after me, Newsweek, for violation of copyright. I'm just reading little bits of it. So let's start with the panic. So a whole bunch of celebrities, Stephen Colbert, who was crying online apparently, and Jimmy Kimmel, spoke about all these celebrities that are leaving. He said Barbara Streisand, you know who she is, said that it was so bad. She said that she liked Biden, and she said that Trump is too old. Now, I must just point out, as a British person who has a sense of humor, that Barbara Streisand herself is in her 80s, and Trump is in his late 70s, unless I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But according to her, he's too old. So obviously she doesn't consider herself old. Anyway, she goes on to say she has to leave. I will move, she said. I can't live in this country if he became president. So that's Barbara Streisand. And she might consider England. I'm not sure that she'll like the weather too much. I wonder if these people are going to leave the money they made out of America behind, but apparently not. But he pointed out, ahead of the 2016 election, she expressed a similar sentiment, telling 60 Minutes Australia, I'm either coming to your country or if you let me in, or Canada. So she's threatened once before to go to Australia. Are you listening, Australia? I know lots of people watch me from Australia. Do you want Barbara Streisand or Canada? While Streisand has not publicly made mention of her migration plans, I'm sure she hasn't. Is she going to go? Is she not going to go? We don't know. Since the recent victory, she did write on X that there are no words left. Okay. So no words left. I guess that explains a lot. Sure. In an October 23 interview with The Guardian, Scher expressed her horror at the very thought of Trump making a return to the White House. I almost got an ulcer the last time he was in office. Wow, poor Scher. Singer, I mean, if you have this much money and all of these people are billionaires, at least multimillionaires, you can really go anywhere. You don't have any problems. Scher, who also has a transgender child, also spoke with a publication that she doesn't like being in America, and she thinks that there's going to be a whole lot of bills that will be passed under the new government. And she said, I was with two trans girls the other night, and of course my own child. I was crying, they were crying. And I said to them, we've got to stand together. I don't know what the plan is. While Scher has stated that she will leave the country this time for sure, Can we put money on this? Can we take bets? I should have taken a bet because I pretty much bet that Trump would get in. So let's take bets. Oh, somebody's here. Who's here? Let's see. I can't. It's always so tiny, this text. I can't read a thing. Sarah. I think it's Sarah. Hi. Sarah's joining us from Sydney. So do you want Cher and Streisand in your country? Let me know. The Star said as Trump ran for office. So she's leaving. Sharon Stone. We're number 3. In late July, the presidential race drew closer, and Sharon Stone that said she was leaving for Europe as soon as possible if Trump got in. I'm certainly considering a house in Italy, she told Daily Mail. And so we have more. I mean, Italy's already crawling with celebrities. And so now Sharon Stone is coming to Italy too. For those of you Italians who join me tonight, we're going to have Sharon Stone. We already have Clooney, who barely spends any time here, but he has, completely changed Lake Como because the property values have gone sky high. And he calls himself an Italian now. He spends most of his time in London with his wife. I don't know that Clooney actually is in America much. Is he even a resident in America? I don't know. Does he have the right to actually tell America how to run the country? I don't know. But Clooney, as we have all seen if we watch TV, is definitely one of them who's in Italy and doesn't want anything to do with America anymore. Speaking of Trump, this is Sharon Stone. This is one of the first times in my life that I've actually seen anyone running office on a platform of hate and oppression. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I think everybody runs on hate and oppression. The British government isn't much different. In a sign of hope, Stone took an Instagram on election day to say she posted a photo of herself wearing a sweater emblazoned with the words Madam President. Anyway, she was wrong. Jokes and backtracking. Over the years, a host of other celebrities spoke about leaving the US. There's an enormous list. I'm not going to read all of it, but we're going to read some of it. Rather than accept Trump as the new president, however, after his 2016 victory, many went on to explain that they had been joking or they changed their mind. Okay. Among those was Miley Cyrus, who declared in an Instagram post back in 2016, I can't read it because it's too full of profanities, I'm moving if this is the president. I don't say things I don't mean. Well, she still hasn't moved. In a 2006 interview, she said she hasn't left yet, but she's going to. But then she said, because me abandoning my country is not right. But anyway, she said she would abandon it again. And trust me, I hear every day on my Instagram, just leave already. When are you going to leave? Well, that's not going to be any good. So I wonder if these people are going to give back the money that they made in America. Anyway, Miley Cyrus is still here. Lena Dunham said the same thing. There's hundreds of these people. On and on and on and on. I mean, I could read this list for about 10 weeks, but there are tons of people. Amy Schumer, she's apparently threatened to go to Spain. Okay, well, she's not in Spain yet. Maybe this year she will. First of all, she said she would move to London, and now she's going. She said it was just a joke. Anyone saying pack your bags is just as disgusting as anyone who voted for the racist, homophobic, disrespectful woman abuser. This is Trump she's describing. Like the rest of us, I'm grieving. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg, I do believe, said on national TV this week that Biden is still in power. He's still the president, and he could arrest the whole of the Republican Party, I do believe, she said, and put them all in prison. That is something she said on live TV. Yeah, it's incredible. Whoopi Goldberg has publicly criticized the former president for a number of years. Trump came on The View in 2011 and she told him that, I mean, I could read all of this. It's all the same. Over the years, Goldberg has said that she will move to Canada over Trump. Okay, well, apparently Canada, are you listening? You're going to get Whoopi Goldberg. So this is like a lottery. This is a postcode lottery. People are going to Australia. Well, only one was going to Australia. Many have threatened to go to London. Good luck with that. And the famous Whoopi Goldberg is apparently going to Canada. Right. Okay. So Jimmy Kimmel, as I mentioned, was crying on TV because he was so angry that he'd been wrong. And there's a whole lot of these. Okay. So perhaps we should the famous Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift actually was part of the Kamala train, the promotion train, and Trump's and Taylor Swift said that she could never live in a Trump country. So apparently she's leaving America too. And then we had to be subjected to Jenny from the Block, who was crying during the performance on the rally. Many people, it was said to have gone there because it was a concert of Jennifer, and yet it wasn't. It was her crying and saying, we deserve better than this. You deserve better. I deserve better. So she's also leaving. Another one who's been very outspoken is Mark Cuban, who was bold enough to say that nobody who supports Trump, nobody, we're talking about 80 million people here, nobody who supports Trump is good looking. The women are all ugly who support Trump, and nobody's very intelligent, and only unintelligent women are voting or supporting Trump. So I mean, there's these sweeping statements from these people, which sounds very, very infantile and nursery school. Do you agree, my lovely audience? And if you're watching this back, let me know what you think. Okay, so here's some of the comments on this Newsweek article. I have an open offer to these celebrities in the Newsweek article. I have arranged for a flight to Kigali, Rwanda, free one-way trip. Leaving on January the 1st, 2025, I will give $100,000, to each one of you if you promise not to come back ever. Another person on the comments, who cares? Many live abroad anyway while they make money off Americans. That country will not end if many in the entertainment industry moves away. I probably agree. Anyway, I couldn't care less about what any of the stars do. It's true. None of them will actually move because they are spineless people. Ironically, I could argue that because of all these celebrities flocking to the Harris bandwagon, only made more ordinary Americans tune out from her campaign. That's a good point. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Can't wait for these elitist, out-of-touch celebs to leave. Bye-bye. Enjoy living somewhere else. Celebrities are no longer the oracles of this world, a modern-day version of Rome where people used to look up to pagan deities is now over. We're here to remind you that it's over and your Hollywood modern-day Rome no longer exists. Keep crying. So anyway, that's the celebrities. Okay. But then, as I mentioned, this week, I had various people who were looking to move to Europe and looking to leave the States. Yes. And there was a lot of hysteria and tears. And I tried to listen without judging. And then I could resist anymore, and I started to think, you know what? If you have independent means, which means you have enough money that you can think about retiring in Europe, or you can think about moving somewhere else, and you're not paying bills, and you're not worried about how you're going to put your children through school, how you're going to pay your mortgage, how you're going to fill the fridge full of groceries. If you have the means to dream about living in Paris or living in, I don't know, anywhere, Tuscany, Florence, choose whichever city you want, London, you have incredible liberty. And in the 50 states, America has 50 states, if I'm not wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes I am. And you can't find a life that you would like with your independent means, with the money that you have. There's nowhere in those 50 states that you could live a life that would make you happy just because somebody that you don't like or you don't agree with is now in power for 4 years. It's the same country, the same language. You would rather put yourself under stress, move to Europe, which is probably not going to be to your liking. Do you agree with all the policies of the people? Do you agree with Macron? Did you agree with Sarkozy? Do you agree with everything that the British prime ministers say? If you're going to move to Italy, do you even know who the prime minister of Italy is? And do you know the policies? So now it's no longer a problem for you. You can't deal with Trump in your own country, of which you're a citizen. There's 50 different states. You can't find one of them to be happy in, where you could build this life with your independent means, because you don't have to worry about, are my children going to get into the school? How am I going to afford to educate my kids? How am I going to put petrol in the car? How am I going to keep my job? How am I going to live? So please, this is what was going through my brain as these people were crying at me and telling me how terrible it was, and that suddenly their vague interest in Europe had become an emergency, a huge emergency. I wish this text box wasn't so little so I could read it. Let's see. So I found myself thinking, if you're not going to be happy in your own country, and there's 50 states that you could choose from that you can move to with no problem whatsoever. Remember, these people all have money. They have enough money to come and retire here in Italy or France or Spain or Germany or wherever. So they definitely have enough money to live where they want in America. I don't understand. It strikes me as quite hysterical that you would cut off your face to spite, cut off your hands to spite yourself. I don't understand why you can't just say, look, I don't agree with the government and I prefer the other candidate, whoever that one was. And yeah, I'll just sit out the 4 years. Is it going to get worse? Is it going to get better? Probably it's going to stay about the same, or maybe it's going to get a bit better. At least have some hope that it might get a bit better. But no. Hysterically, I have to leave immediately. I have to make a point. Who cares? I mean, who are you making a point to? I would say to people who are doing this, who are you making a point to? Are you making a point yourself? Because probably nobody around you really cares. They're busy getting on with their lives, busy, making ends meet, busy working, busy doing whatever. And if you have independent means and you can go and retire anywhere, why put yourself through the stress? You're probably not going to be happy in Paris if something like this is already getting to you. And spoke to somebody a couple of weeks ago who wants to go to Florence, knows nothing about the Florentines, and yet is quite convinced that the Florentines can't speak a word of Italian, are going to receive her much better than other countries in Europe where they've already lived and not been happy. I don't know. It's a mystery to me. It really is. And I wish I knew the answer to these questions. But yeah, that's what we're discussing tonight. So I'm looking forward to your opinions. Oh yeah, look, there's a long story here, and I wish I could open it. Let me try and see if I can. I don't know. Today it just doesn't seem to want to open. Usually I can put the chat in. Yeah. So I see that, yeah, others agree. I don't understand why people can't regulate their behavior to make themselves happy where they are. I'm here in Italy. Life is sometimes hard. I still have to work. I'm not retired, but I love my life. Today I did a live. Sarah Belly joined us from Sydney, of the beautiful yachts, the beautiful sailboats, the beautiful boardwalk that I walk along. There's so many beautiful things here in Italy. There's beautiful towns and cities that I can visit. There's the culture, there's the food, there's art, there's opera, there's shows, there's musical. There's every single thing you want. And I'm pretty sure wherever you go in Europe, if you plug into the local culture in Paris, in France, in Fontainebleau, wherever you are. My dear newest friend Janice lives in Fontainebleau and she goes into Paris a lot. There's so much to see, there's so much to experience, there's so much to do. Around Christmas time, when it's my birthday, we're getting together and we're going to do a mutual vlog. I'm going to interview her and she's going to interview me. We're two women who moved to a new country. And yeah, I mean, there's so much to be excited about in life, and I don't understand why people get completely sidetracked by politics. As I said, I'm not American. I can't vote, and really, I have no interest in having political discussions. Other than that, I'm just mystified why all these celebrities think that we care enough for them to want us to know that they're leaving their countries. It's quite astounding. It's quite hysterical. Anyway, so let's look at this. So let's say that you could have the perfect place to be with everything you like. You like some culture, nice shops, nice shopping, all that lovely stuff, just as I have here in Italy and I've always had. And you could choose to make a life there. Would you choose that over staying close to family, close to your ties, close to your perhaps your traditions, your culture, your language? Why would you choose to go somewhere else? Perhaps because a place could fascinate you, or the culture. Perhaps you don't understand the culture very well and you can't speak the language, but nevertheless, it fascinates you. And certainly that was the case. If you watched my first video on when I first came to live in Italy, that was the case for me. I was just fascinated by so much of the culture, which I can't say I understood every bit of. I didn't. I understood quite little of it. But nevertheless, I felt like, yes, I want to know more. I want to live that. I spoke about my first Christmas in Italy and all the traditions since, and Easter in Italy, all those things. So if you could have one country, drop down in the box. I'm now going to read some of your comments because I'm determined, even though they're incredibly small. For some unknown reason, it will not enlarge the chat box. No. do not know how to enlarge the chat box now. It just won't cooperate. So I'm just going to have to read your comments after. Sorry, it won't enlarge. It usually enlarges and I can read it. It's annoying. So, yeah, if you could choose that one amazing place, wherever it is, you can write down in the comments afterwards when you watch this back where that amazing place is for you. Where would you go? What would you do? And what job would you do? Would you perhaps do something different than you did in your home country? I've been working here since the day I arrived. I'm still working. I have a vintage clothing pop-up shop that I do, and I do my wreaths. If you watched last week, every Christmas I make different wreaths to order, and I have a market that I sell them at. And so tonight, maybe what I'm going to do, for those of you who didn't watch that one, I'm just going to give you a short little update, short little view of some of my wreaths. So these are the wreaths I made of 100% cotton. They are made of ribbons that I make from cotton. This one is red and white. They just hang on a door. This would look lovely on a green door because it's all the red and white. And so I think if I show you close up, you'll see the colors of the cotton. So that's one. Somebody said they love this because it reminds them of Switzerland. So there's that one. That one's quite big. Then there's this one, which is a bit smaller. Also, again, all the reds with some gold tartan ribbon in it. You can see all the different little colors. That's about the size of it. Okay. The other one was much bigger. And then this is my biggest one. This has cookies and gingerbread man and all kinds. This is the biggest one. It's kind of all burgundy colors with green, but it hangs on a lovely wooden door or burgundy with burgundy accents, or would look lovely on a green door. And as I mentioned, it has the cookies and the gingerbread man, and that's my biggest wreath I make. Then I, of course, also make fresh wreaths, which I'm not going to show you. There's lots of videos up. I will link those videos too. This one is an Advent one, which has all the months of the year and dates and times, and is rather pretty. You can see some of the months of the year written there. And again, it's all pure cotton. So the ribbons are, I think you can see it there. And then we also have these little ones, which I've just made an order of 5 of these. These just hang on the door. They're again made of cotton, and they have a lovely ribbon, and they just hang on the door to brighten up, maybe for an apartment if you don't have a big door or you don't have a big home and you just want something little to show Christmas. I've made those too, and they have tartan ribbons, and everything is 100% cotton. They're super light, and you can store them away for next year. So those are some of my plans coming up to Christmas. I'd love to know on the comments what your plans are coming up to Christmas, and what you think of this whole election thing and people hysterically leaving America. Would you leave your country if you didn't win your preferred candidate in an election? I want to know that. So if you watch this back later when we go off air, won't you leave me a comment down there? Let me know what you think. I thought I would talk about this tonight because I've been, various people have messaged me and discussed it or whatever, and I thought I really should just let it go. And I think perhaps I'm seeing in other people, some of them are panicking and going crazy, and other American friends of mine are full of hope and joy that this is a new start and that perhaps the financial situation will improve and the markets will improve and things will get so much better. And I'm hoping for that because I think hope is something that we all need. And I have hope and I have absolute faith that whatever happens, that the Americans that I know, and I know a lot of them, my American friends will come through this, and many of them will actually be fine, and many of them, in fact, will thrive. And many good things will come of this new period. It's a new start, it's a new period. And I just like to think positively. As I say, I'm not eligible to vote. I'm not American, and therefore this is not a political discussion in any way. I'm not interested in knowing who people voted for and who they didn't vote for. That's up to the persons, that's their own private information. But I was just intrigued how all of these celebrities were throwing tantrums and crying online and saying and literally ripping their shirts off and behaving like nursery school children, or worse. Perhaps I've never seen a nursery school child behave so badly. And one wonders, how they regulate themselves. Anyway, apparently Canada and England and Italy, a lot of them named Italy as the place that they're coming to run away to. I think at least Sharon Stone and Barbara Streisand said Italy. So we're going to have them here. They're coming to Italy. Are you coming to Italy? That's the point. Come and visit. There's so much to see, so much to do here. It's a great place to be. And yeah, I'll be updating you in the next few weeks. I'm hoping in December, what I usually do is I do a daily vlog. Sometimes it's short in the run up to Christmas. It's called Vlogmas, and I take part in it every year. And I'm hoping to do it this year. So if you haven't subscribed yet, and you haven't liked the video, go and like the video right now, please. It does make it much easier for YouTube to suggest my stuff to those who want to watch it or those who might be interested. And thank you for joining us tonight. We've got people joining from all over. I can see you writing in the chat box. I'm going to read back the text and leave a comment after the video is done. Go on the video and leave a comment, and then I can answer you. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. Bye here from Italy. Bye. And let me know what you think about what we discussed tonight. So I'll leave you now from here in Italy. Amanda signing out. See you on the next one. See you on the next one. Bye. Bye.